I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Alderman Austin.
Here. Here. Here.
Foley.
Here.
Collier.
Here.
Hodel.
Here.
Shipp.
Here.
Mayor Pauley.
Here. Call, please stand for the pledge, followed by the invocation by Alderman Mayberry.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, dear God, for letting us assemble here in this meeting tonight and remind us all that this is a place of business, and in God I trust.
Minutes of the meeting of October 10th, 2016.
Motion to approve the minutes is printed.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Update Rock Island, I have 5 items tonight. The first one, on October 20th, the Lorne Evans Watts Memorial Fund for Children's Materials of the Rock Island Public Library Foundation will hold a trivia night at the Quad City Botanical Center from 6:30 till 9:30 p.m. There will be trivia play, mulligan, doublers, and rent-a-genius rounds. Light snacks may be brought in, while all beverages must be purchased at the cash bar. Sign up as a table or individual player for $10 per person or $80 per table. For more information and reserving your spot, please call 732-7326. Looking for an environmentally friendly Halloween activity aimed at all ages? On Friday, October 21st, from 6 p.m. till 7:30 p.m., the Blackhawk State Historic Site will celebrate Halloween with a short walk in the moonlight to meet some of the site's special critters, such as chipmunks, foxes, spiders, snakes, bats, and more. Hear the animals played by Augustana drama students as they tell stories about living in the forest. Inside Singing Bird Center will be a show and tell by site naturalist Chuck Wester and refreshments. The event is free, and for more information, please call 788-9536. The City of Rock Island Public Works Department started the fire hydrant flushing program today, October 10th. The crews will be flushing hydrants for approximately a 4-week period. The purpose of this program is to help maintain the water quality standards in the fire protection system. Citizens may experience brief periods of discolored water or low pressure, which is normal during flushing operations. Questions may be directed to the Public Works Department at 732-2200. Join the Quad City Botanical Center on Friday, October 21st for a thrilling nighttime tour of the tropical sun garden with the lights turned off. Come in costume and bring a small flashlight as the little ones explore the winding pathways in the dark. Search out many discoveries on this fun and exciting evening. All activities start at 8 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. and are included with the general admission. Please call 794-0991 for more information. And finally, Thursday, October 27th, the Rock Island District will be full of spooky fun for children, including trick-or-treating, entertainment, live DJ, and a costume contest. The fun starts at 5 o'clock p.m. and goes until 8 o'clock, co-presented by the Rock Island Parks and Recreation Department. That's Update Rock Island for this week. Okay, now I'm going to close the regular meeting and open a public hearing on a Citizens Advisory Committee recommendation for 2017-18 Community Development Block Grant Funds and a CY 2017 Gaming Grant Funds from the committee. So who is the spokesperson? Okay, Ms. Moore, we need your full name and the city you reside in.
Linda Moore, Rock Island.
Okay, please go ahead.
Mayor Pauley and members of the City Council, my name is Linda Moore, and I've been a member of the Citizens Advisory Committee for the past 3 years. This year I was appointed chairman by my members, and on behalf of the committee, I want to thank you for this time to present to you our recommendations. But first, I'd like to acknowledge the members of the committee who are here to support me tonight in this presentation. Phyllis Oakley and Norm Moline are both here. And I'd also like to recognize our new Budget and Grants Coordinator, Colleen Small-Bowman, who jumped right in, Colleen's sitting right there, who jumped right in during this process only after a few weeks on the job. She's done an excellent job guiding us through the final steps of this process and will do a great job facilitating these grant dollars. Each year, the committee is tasked with determining a CDBG budget that will disperse monies in a way that improves housing, economic, and social condition of the city, adheres to the guidelines mandated by HUD, aligns with Rock Island's consolidated plan, and most importantly, benefits our low and moderate income citizens. Furthermore, the committee also works to ensure that the gaming grant budget we are also presenting tonight will disperse monies in a way that benefits Rock Island citizens, with priority given to those organizations within our city limits that provide services to the youth in our committee. We met multiple times over a period of several weeks and spent countless hours to ensure that our recommendations would best meet the needs of our citizens. This year, $910,000 was budgeted for the CDBG allocations, which represents an anticipated 3% decrease in funds from last year's grant. We received funding requests of just over $1.4 million, causing a shortfall of almost $500,000. If you notice on the chart, it was in your packet, I do have additional copies, we were able to fully fund several of these requests. We also added a significant amount of money to the demolition fund over last year. Unfortunately, 3 of our programs will receive less this year due to HUD filing regulations, but it is our intention to have these funds increased in the next grant year. The city budgeted $50,000 for calendar year 2017 gaming grant allocations, the same amount that's been allocated since the inception of the program. Each committee member reviewed the 17 grant applications, heard their presentations, and had questions answered by all the applicants. We utilized an individual scoring mechanism with 8 categories that corresponded to most critical components of the grant application, and scores were tallied for each applicant. The committee then met to review the scores and discuss funding. This process ensured a fair and open discussion about the merit of the requests, which totaled $94,945. With a shortfall of almost $45,000, we concentrated on those programs that were already established and would have the biggest impact on Rock Island citizens, prioritizing those that would be most beneficial to the youth and low to moderate income families here in Rock Island. With this in mind, the Citizen Advisory Committee recommends awarding funds to 14 of those organizations. CDBG and gaming grant funds enable the city and social service providers to offer assistance to those in Rock Island with the greatest needs. The task of allocating these monies in a manner that affects the greatest good is certainly a difficult but rewarding task. As Rock Island citizens, the members of this committee are very thankful we have this funds, staffing, and the will to deliver these programs to our community, and are very thankful to be a part of this process. Thank you. I do have, these were all in your packet, but I do have additional copies if you want to see what was funded. And then if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Okay, this one also shows on the bottom, the not funded, right?
Yes, there
Okay.
was 3 that we did not fund.
Okay. Questions? Council? I know Chuck has some.
Number one, I can understand, I'm sure, even though RME, River Music Experience, sits in Davenport, we're talking about maybe programming within our schools.
Right.
And
It's
just explain to me, QC Community Broadcasting Group.
That is also something that they do with the schools, and it is a Rock Island student. They are working this year with the student ambassadors. They have a group of the 60 ambassadors, and they're working with them this year. So they've expanded their actual group that they're working with in Rock Island.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'll just say thank you to those that served, and we appreciate your time. I know this isn't easy when you're looking at more money requested than you have, and it's hard to decide that, so thank you for serving, and I thank you to the alderman too, and the city for continuing to support this. I think it's not easy as budgets get tighter and tighter, but I think it's an important program, so thank you.
Any other comments?
I don't think this is the first time we've seen the request for demolition so high. If we keep seeing the request for $500,000, but we know we aren't gonna be able to allocate it, why does the request keep coming in at $500,000?
One reason,
Go ahead.
one reason it's so high is because everything else is fully funded. So if we get any other money, additional money, we can put all of it into demolition.
Oh, good.
If they were to cap that off, say at $100,000,
Sure,
we may have money given to us that we can't use.
sure. That makes sense. Okay.
Any other questions?
I just didn't know if it
Yes,
was like continuous wishful thinking. I was like, Lord
Well, I
knows we
think
need
that
the
might be
money,
part
but-
of it, yeah.
Yeah, great.
3,070 that will be used, that's already, it's going to be used.
That is what we're recommending being given to demolition. Anything that we would get over and above the $910,000 that we allocated, if for some reason HUD gives us more money, which they have in the last several years, that will go into additional demolition money.
Okay, it wouldn't go into, say, the King Center or somewhere else?
It won't go into King Center because we fully funded them already.
Okay, what about a non-emergency loan? It wasn't fully funded, would it, perhaps?
Those are the three that aren't fully funded because of, there was a filing error, and we have fully funded everything we can that HUD allows us to do this year.
Okay, so it will automatically end up in demolition.
So it'll automatically, if any money we get in additional, over above the $910,000, will go into demolition.
Okay.
Last year, we recommended $25,881. So we've already been able to allocate a lot of more money to them this year with the expectation that they will get even more.
Any other questions?
Thanks.
Okay, hearing none. I will close the public hearing and reconvene the regular meeting. Decisions will be made at the regular council meeting on October 24th. Thank you. I know the committee did put in a lot of hours, a lot of time, and, they really have to review a lot of information, and these are tough decisions to make when you've got a finite amount of money, but we all have a finite amount of money. All right, item number 8.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of 3 series of unlimited tax general obligation bonds, Series 2016A, for the financing of roadway improvement projects at an estimated cost of $3,610,000, and refunding of all or a portion of the outstanding general obligation bonds, Series 2008A and 2009B, Series 2016B, for the refunding of all or a portion of the outstanding general obligation bonds, Series 2008B and 2009A, and Series 2016C for the refunding of all or a portion of the taxable general obligation bonds, Series 2014B.
Motion considers the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
I would just maybe ask if Stephanie could come up and briefly explain, to everyone what all that our lovely city clerk just read means for the people in the room and at home, what we're doing with this vote.
Sure. So there are 3 portions that are part of the proposed 2016 bonds. One of them being $3.6 million worth of street reconstruction work, that a lot of it has taken place in this budget year that we're in now, and some of it will carry over to next year. Another portion of that series is to restructure part of the 2014B bonds, which were to fund the Watchtower Plaza. And so just restructuring just a portion of those bonds, basically the principal that is due over the next 3 years, the first principal payment that is actually due December 1st of 2016. The third piece of that series is to refund for savings, actually, 4 of our previous bond issues. The savings is to what looks like it'll be about $250,000 over the remaining life of those bonds, about $100,000 of it in our downtown TIF alone. And as we talked about earlier, that TIF is coming to an end here soon, so it's exciting to be able to take $100,000 in savings over the next 3.5, 4 years too.
Right, so in short, all of these things are going to save us a substantial amount of money by making this decision, restructuring the bonds, and
Yeah.
so that's a good thing for everybody in the room, and thank you for leading us in that direction.
Definitely.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Austin,
This was just a reading, wasn't it?
Coming back on
There's a motion to consider the ordinance.
consider the
second
Oh,
reading
I'm
will be
sorry,
on the-
I'm sorry, I was.
Yeah.
motion to consider.
First,
Okay, aye,
Okay.
yeah.
Clark. Aye. Mayberry,
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Talanier,
Yes.
Hodel,
aye.
Ship.
Aye.
And the second reading will be held on Monday, October 24th for final consideration. Item number 9, A through E.
Move to accept the reports and authorize payments as recommended.
Second.
Motion is a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Austin,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Mayberry,
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Talanier,
Yes.
Hodel,
Aye.
Ship.
Aye.
Motion approved. Item 10.
Claims for the week of October 7th through October 13th in the amount of $569,955.33, and payroll for the weeks of September 26th through October 9th in the amount of $1,482,851.10.
Move to allow the claims and payroll.
Second.
A motion is a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Austin.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Mayberry.
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Talanier.
Yes.
Hodel.
Aye.
Ship.
Aye.
Motion approved. Item 11.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding the hiring of consultants for analyzing Millennia Housing Development's request to establish 2 project-specific TIFs, one for Century Woods and one for Heather Ridge. Recommending Kane, McKenna, and Associates.
Move to take item number 11 from the table and place it back on the agenda.
Second.
A motion is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll be abstaining.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we'll take it off the table.
Move to approve the hiring of Kane, McKenna, and Associates as recommended. Authorize staff to create a contractual agreement with Millennia Housing Development Limited for reimbursement of all costs and fees associated with hiring the consultants, subject to minor attorney modifications, and authorize the city manager to execute the contract documents.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Once again, I'll be abstaining.
Right, hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Austin.
Aye.
Mayberry.
Aye.
Foley.
No.
Talanier.
No.
Hodel.
Aye.
Ship.
Aye.
Motion approved. Item 12.
Report from the city clerk regarding a request from Brianna Watson for a street closing at 9th Street between 6th Avenue and 7th Avenue, along with sound amplification for a CD release bash to be held on Sunday, October 23rd, 2016, from noon to 8 p.m. at the Martin Luther King Jr. Park at 601 9th Street.
Motion to approve the
Request is recommended.
second.
We have a motion is a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Other business, council members.
Yeah, 3 quick things. Number 1, Saturday evening, I did a ride-along with our police department. Hopped into a squad car with one of our officers a little before 11 and visited a lot of the areas of the city, including the nightlife area as the bars emptied. And the nice thing was I really saw absolutely nothing. Those are the nice days for both the officers, but it's a nice day for the city, too. And I say this because I don't get to do this just because I'm an alderman. I get to do this because I'm a citizen of Rock Island and ask for the opportunity to do so. So if anybody else would ever want to do a ride-along, please let the chief know, make the necessary arrangements, and you could ride from 10 o'clock in the morning, you ride at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you ride at 10 o'clock at night. The 10 o'clock on Saturday night is traditionally the more interesting ride. Number 2, for the final time, tomorrow evening I'll be hosting a ward/community meeting. I've communicated personally with 150 to 200 different Rock Islanders, 7th Ward and other wards. We'll be meeting at the Rock Island Police Station in the community room, with the meeting starting at 6:30. At the same time, I've advertised, if you want to be there at 5:30 and take a tour of the new facility, please feel free to do so. Chief Van Huysen will take a tour group through. Now, the one thing, because you're going to be entering some secured areas, if you want to go through that tour, you can't just show up at 5:45 or 6 o'clock and jump in. It's they're going to be behind locked doors. So be there at or before 5:30 if you want to take that tour. At the same time, we'll do another one at the end. Historically, we've been done at or before 8 o'clock. So Chief will take another group through on the back end if they want to tour the police facility, the new police station after that. But I invite any and all to join us tomorrow night for a meeting where every department head has been invited, and I don't think any one of them has turned me down. An opportunity to sit down. I know Mayor Pauley will be there. I know at least one other person up this table is intending to be there if schedules permit. Good exchanges always take place. Tough questions, tough answers, but it's a way to get the answers from the people who know the answers the best. And finally, I've reminded Angela Campbell to give her another opportunity to plug the Rock Island Public Library Foundation Food for Thought fundraiser coming up, and I advertise it as one of my favorite events. It's a chance to go to the library and do everything you always wanted to do in a library but couldn't. Eat, drink, and walk around and talk to your heart's content.
Yes, Food for Thought is Thursday, November 10th from 5 to 7:30, and you can drop in at any time. You can pay ahead of time or at the door, and for your $40 donation to the Rock Island Public Library Foundation, you will get to go to all the different chef stations that we have. You can sample some craft beers from Blue Cat and wine from Creekside Vineyards, plus, of course, soft drinks and water. We'll have live music. We'll have wonderful silent auction items. This year's theme is Grow Your Love of Reading, so a lot of those items are related to that theme. And all the proceeds go to the Rock Island Public Library Foundation, which is our fundraising arm, the 501c3, and they then take that money and help fund things that are above and beyond our operational costs, so programs, some special materials, and things like that. So I hope you all can make it. You can call 732-READ. That's the easiest way to let us know you're coming, so thank you.
All right, any other comments?
I have one for Alderman Austin. I remember you did some ride-alongs years ago, and I believe you used the expression a powder keg.
The first time I did it with John Phillips. That night, it can be tense because you've got some alcohol, and it's amazing when alcohol and stupid mix. Funny things can happen, but it was if something ever started, it would be a battle. But our officers have a good handle. The district patrol has really made a difference. The bar owners are, as a group, much more responsible than they were even just 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, so there's a noted improvement.
Absolutely.
And I would like to personally thank the mayor/liquor commissioner and the police chief for their vision here, because I think when they both started in, that was their goal, is chief and mayor and liquor commissioner. It didn't happen by accident, folks. It happened because good people did good things. And thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Kate, you had something?
Oh, yes, I was just going to share basically a brag about my ward. On Saturday morning, the Broadway Neighborhood Association, and specifically the Beautification Commission, that's chaired by a very new Rock Island resident, I think he's only lived here under a year, organized a neighborhood cleanup at 9 a.m. on Saturday. And great turnout, especially thanks to Augustana College. There were at least probably 30 students there at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. I couldn't believe it when I turned the corner and saw that many students there. So a big thank you to them for showing up at 9 a.m. on Saturday. They were more chipper than most of the adults there, and they went off to pick up and clean the neighborhood. But it was a great experience, not only because of that, but I got to walk the neighborhood, walk up through Hallberg Park, and see a lot of the work that the Friends of Hallberg Park are doing, which they've made a lot of changes, and they're really activating for that park, which is amazing to see. And then I also got to witness on one of the streets, because in Broadway they were doing the hot in place recycling that day as well. So all in one day, we get to clean up my ward, see things that the citizens are doing, and also get to see that in place recycling, and it's very cool to watch. I mean, they're literally like burning the asphalt off, and it's very neat to watch. To those of you that are having it done in your neighborhoods, go and check it out. But thank you to the Public Works Department for bringing that to Rock Island. It's helped improve a lot of our roads at a lower cost, and thank you again to the fine residents that came out on Saturday. We picked up a lot of trash and made the neighborhood even nicer, and it's great to be able to do things like that. So,
Great. Anybody else?
Mayor, I've got a couple things I want to talk about here. it's not always the easiest thing for us to get together as council members because law prohibits it when we want to talk about city business. So I wanted to talk about a couple things that I'm hoping, as we saw our press release come out today, we are pretty solid with our transition with Randy as our city manager here for the time being. So one thing I want to start off was by saying thank you to the Public Works Department under Mr. Larry Cook now. We have a number of new sidewalks, sidewalks being rebuilt in the 6th Ward right now. And a stretch in particular on 42nd Street and 7th Avenue, adjacent to, across the way from Longfellow. A lot of traffic, a lot of, parents, people there with their kids. That stretch of sidewalk had been so beaten up. I had an apartment there when I was a student at Augustana, and I remember it was almost gone because of the weeds. And I've had a number of people calling me and thanking me for getting that done. And it's really, it's their money, it's their city, and I think that the more we can do by putting the taxpayer dollars back into the neighborhoods, the city's going to be all the stronger for it. And with that, led me to think of our housing stock. I know this year as we move into our conversations about the budget, and in the next subsequent years, we're going to continue to feel the stress on property tax. And one thing I think that we can do a better job of in terms of looking at CDBG dollars and other grant monies, and seeing how much we need to put into demolition because we have so much housing stock that needs to be done. And that's really a result of 20, 30, 40 years of neglect. And that's a systemic problem. And it's not just a Rock Island problem, it's a problem all across the Midwest and across the country. It's much easier to put a few $1,000s into keeping a home looking good with a fresh coat of paint and a new roof than to pay the demolition company and have all that material have to be towed away and then have a vacant lot, which I know Alderman Mayberry doesn't appreciate vacant lots, and nobody does, because then it's a lot easier to put a brand new home, get a brand new home start built there. And so when I look at the, speaking for my ward, I see the greatest challenge we have is for the next 10 years is maintaining our housing stock. As we have major avenue thoroughfares there, what you see from the road creates a perception. And so I think that the more we can be strategic in trying to help homeowners put fresh coats of paint, get their porches built up, get the new shingles on the roof, is just as good of investment as putting money into streets and sidewalks. Because at the end of the day, those homes are what fund this whole city from the property tax. And if the homes are falling apart, then it's only a matter of time before the budget falls apart. And then we got to start, making severe cuts and laying people off, and it's just a bad cycle. And so I would hope that in this period of transition and pivoting in terms of philosophy and what we're looking out to, I hope putting the tourniquet on the housing stock right now is what we can focus on. I think that'd be very, very important. Another thing that I'd like to see is that as aldermen, we often get phone calls directly. Oftentimes or frequently, we're getting calls that are, I would call it a crisis point, where the individual citizen is already at sort of a crisis state or at odds with city staff, and we have to intervene as we have known nothing leading up to that situation about what's going on. And as the alderman, it puts us in a very difficult situation because I believe that we are one team, and I don't like being in the position where I feel like I have to fight against staff to be an advocate for my constituent, because at no point along the way did I know about what was going on, and then it reaches a crisis point and action's been taken, and sometimes it's steep action because the individual hasn't been responsive. And so that makes our job very difficult. And to be better stewards of the needs of our constituents, I think the more communication that we get at that level for what can be shared with us as not being staff is going to help us out in the long run. and it's going to make a much better morale between City Hall, the elected officials, and the city staff. The last thing on my wish list here is I don't know why it ever happened this way or what the cause was, but I would like us to start recording study sessions, because not only for the aldermen who have full-time jobs and who can't make study sessions to every single one, there are people at home who can't make it here and will never see that information that's being presented. And staff puts a lot of time into these presentations. It's good research. There's the PowerPoints. And I believe that we should be recording those so that you can watch them on the website right in line with the council meeting. So I don't know if there's support for that here on the council, if other aldermen agree, but I'd certainly hope to see some of these changes happen here over the next year or two.
Any other comments?
Yes, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm glad Alderman Shipp did. As far as these vacant lots and that staff can help me, I don't believe we've got new homes going on those vacant lots except Habitat homes. We need homes, and staff is working with me to build homes out in southwest Rock Island. We have land in southwest Rock Island, and we need to build brand-new homes out there. We don't need no more gardens, and you and I have had this discussion a couple times. We don't need no more gardens, as far as I'm concerned, in Rock Island. That shows that you have low-income people that are using those gardens mainly to eat off of. We're trying to make this city grow, and this is my belief and other people's belief, that it does not grow by having a bunch of gardens in your town. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and that's my point. The more we can take care of these homes before they need to get torn down and then become a vacant lot, it's about the long-term cycle here.
Yeah, because the plan was, when we started tearing down homes like 20-some-odd years ago, older homes in the west end of Rock Island, was for the neighbors to buy those vacant lots and build garages or whatever. It didn't work. I believe we are still, as far as building permits, we are the lowest on this side of the river, the city of Rock Island. We need building permits and new homes, and I thank Habitat for what they've done, but we need more than that also.
I'll just say briefly, so you're not just hanging out there on your own. I think all great ideas, and I think they're all worth pursuing, and thank you for bringing them up. But I did want to add to your point, it's not just Habitat, because we just started a new program. We're calling it the Home, what's the name of it? I'm blanking.
No, we started the home
No.
program.
It's a program to do exactly what you're talking about, to build homes on those vacant lots. And we're partnering with several different investors with that program. And we just approved that as a council, a month ago, maybe, not even a couple weeks ago. So that hopefully will start activating some of that.
Okay, anything else?
Well, Josh, it's been a long time since someone brought up videotaping the study sessions. And the last time I brought it up, or I didn't bring it, last time it was brought up, there was no support, but I clearly would support that. We do make life mistakes in study sessions, but we're human and we battle it out sometimes, and sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. And people didn't want that videotape forever, but it is clearly a resource, and it's the workings of the city. And it's not that everything's rubber stamped, it's just that we rubber stamp things tomorrow that we did 2 hours ago.
Correct. Yeah, and I think the people need to see that. Are there other aldermen who support it besides myself and Talon here? Yeah. PJ? You support? You support it?
You gotta be careful now.
Alderman Holson. So I think we've got support to do it. I think the IT staff can more than figure this one out for us.
But I don't know what MediaCom thinks of that. I don't know how that all, I don't know.
Well, even if it's just on our
But
website.
we'll have to research it. We will research to see what can be done.
Oh, so you believe that IT is recording these as well as MediaCom right now?
No, but he wants IT to record the study sessions.
Okay, I'm with you.
All right, I think we can figure this out.
We'll
Thanks.
figure it out. We'll get IT to look at it and get it figured out. Any other comments from council members? Okay, we have one person signed up to speak, Beth Johnson. Beth, we need a name for a record and the city you reside in. And would you please pull that down just a little bit? There you go. Thank you.
Beth Johnson, 1015 21st Street.
Rock Island, right? Okay. Okay, you have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
I was not going to speak tonight. I'm not prepared to speak, and I'm not comfortable. I will speak at another time when I put together something more rational. But I've lived in this city my entire adult life. I came here at 18 to go to Augustana College. I'm a long-term resident that's been involved in everything in Rock Island, everything. And I will list that all out at some point in time. But in the past year, I have been, and my family have been so harassed by this city that it's the stress literally compromised my immune system, and I was in the hospital most of March. And I only am speaking tonight because today I got another letter with violations against my home now, and things as silly as weeds on the north side of my fence. That's my neighbor's garden. You know, weeds on the south side of my fence. That's my neighbor on the south side. There's no space between the fence and the neighbor on the south side. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And
Beth, let me tell you that the city manager got involved today for the first time, and he's going to completely review the issue and see what can be done.
yeah, I would like to speak with Katie. There are just so many issues, and it's just wrong.
This is
Just wrong.
This is an example of what Alderman Ship kind of touched on in his address. That Mr. Thomas just emailed me about this today. So, please don't hesitate to call me or any of us in the future, because we'll get involved.
And I'm
make
not
sure-
the only one. There are other long-term, lifetime residents of Rock Island that have been so harassed. They're out of here, and I am too. I don't feel welcome here, no matter what I've done in the past and how much involvement I've had in this city. It's just insane. And people are leaving, and the reputation of Rock Island is like the worst. When I moved into what is now Broadway, and I was a founding member of the Broadway neighborhood to change that from below the hill, bad neighborhood, you let your kids play in the yard. The perception was the first thing that we sought out to change the perception. And that happened, and now it's going right down the tubes. And I can't talk to anybody that has anything good to say about either living here or what they perceive it's like to live here. And I've lived here for 40 years. Thank you.
Thank
But
you.
I will document everything from start to finish.
And Randy will research it, and he'll get back to the council and to Alderman Hodel.
Right.
Right. Thank you. Okay, we do have an executive session on personnel, property acquisition, and litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're going to go into executive session.